Welcome to episode 35 of the Security Matters podcast, where we bring you the latest news, views and opinion from across the UK's dedicated security business sector. My name's Brian Sims and I'm the editor of Security Matters magazine. We're delighted that this podcast is sponsored by the Security event, which runs at the NEC in Birmingham from the 28th to the 30th of April 2026. Security Matters is once again serving as the lead media partner for the exhibition. To register for the show, visit www.theSecurityEvent.co.uk. Focusing on the latest news, and the Business Continuity Institute has published its inaugural Vision 2030 report. Sponsored by F24, the document explores the future of the resilience sector by presenting practitioners' views and expectations for the next 5 years, as well as outlining anticipated challenges and strategic priorities shaping the profession. This future-leaning report reveals the expectation that resilience will shift from being viewed as a costly response to disruption to become a profit enabler that delivers measurable business value. Key drivers of this expectation include the ability of robust resilience practices to reduce financial outlay, the optimization of processes through greater understanding of the host organization, and its potential to provide effective reputational protection. Also identified as a key area of future change for the sector is that most commentators believe the role of resilience practitioners will evolve to include more understanding of regulatory requirements, the adoption of new technologies, and closer cross-functional collaboration. Overall, the approach to long-term resilience is expected to become more collaborative and shaped by supporting technologies with an increased emphasis on soft skills. Performance indicators are expected to transform, indicating the need for a stronger focus on clear and effective measurement in the sector, while practitioners also anticipate top future resilience manager skills will combine strategic insight with practical expertise, particularly so knowledge of the supply chain, which is fully expected to surpass the need for understanding of cybersecurity and geopolitical issues. The profession is also preparing for major technology advancements. Over the next 5 years, practitioners anticipate the adoption of new tools and methodologies to enhance resilience planning. These include artificial intelligence-driven predictive risk management tools and advanced scenario simulation and planning software, in addition to real-time analytics and dashboard solutions for risk monitoring. In support of these exciting transformations is a strong consensus from the sector that a Chief Resilience Officer role is essential to support the profession's evolution, duly positioning resilience firmly at the executive level in order to ensure that it's always driven from the top. As millions of pounds in cash and valuables move daily across the UK, the risk of cash-in-transit robberies remains a significant threat to businesses, security personnel and the public. In response, the British Standards Institution has published BS 7872-2025, Manned Security Services, Cash and Valuables in Transit, Collection and Delivery Code of Practice, has revised guidance designed to raise the bar on security, professionalism and safety in the physical transfer of high-risk items. Developed in partnership with leading industry experts from the Post Office, G4S, Loomis, Brink's Global Services and also the British Security Industry Association, BS 7872-2025 establishes robust best practice focused on crime prevention, worker welfare and evolving security challenges. The British standard references cutting-edge technologies and reflects recent industry advancements designed to safeguard both people and assets. BS 7872-2025 provides a unified and authoritative framework for organisations managing cash and valuables in transit, duly enhancing protocols to reduce the risk of robbery and violence. Further, it prioritises the health, safety and well-being of security personnel on the front line and can adapt to emerging threats through flexible and tech-driven security solutions. Importantly, the revision reflects legislative changes since the last edition, which was published back in 2011. As crime methods evolve, BS 7872-2025 offers the essential guidelines to protect millions of pounds on the move, ensuring safer streets and more secure cash handling nationwide. Scott Steedman, the Director General for Standards at the BSI, has said, businesses of all shapes and sizes are vulnerable to the risk of cash-in-transit robberies. The revised BS 7872 is a single and comprehensive code of practice that prioritises safety, security and professionalism and is an industry-led consensus of how this risk can be reduced for the cash-in-transit sector. BS 7872-2025 explains how organisations can be empowered to better protect their people and assets and keep on adapting to the rapidly changing threat landscape. Sarah Staff, the head of Safer Cash at the BSIA and chair of the British Standards Review process, added, cash-in-transit security is a complex challenge that requires constant innovation and collaboration. BS 7872-2025 brings together the expertise of the industry's leading organisations to create a practical and future-proof framework that not only strengthens security measures, but also ensures the well-being of the people who keep our cash supply safe. By setting these clear standards, we're taking a vital step towards reducing crime and protecting workers on a daily basis. Copies of BS 1872-2025 are available now from the BSI's website at www.bsigroup.com. Our first guest on episode 35 of the Security Matters podcast is Claire Humble, founder and CEO of blended learning business Nuology and current chair of the UK Security Commonwealth. With her senior leadership background in global security, risk and resilience spanning over 3 decades, Claire is a specialist when it comes to the transformation of organisational landscapes and optimising processes. Claire's keen focus on authenticity, diversity and inclusivity underpins a commitment to ensuring the continued safety and security of both people and assets for organisations worldwide. During our interview, Claire turns her attentions towards several subjects, including the Security Commonwealth's role and pressing challenges confronting the security profession. Welcome to the podcast, Claire. First of all, what is it that spurred you on to apply for the role of chair of the UK Security Commonwealth?
Thank you, Brian. It's really good to be here. I think the most important thing, or the reason why I put in for the chair of the Security Commonwealth, was that it would be a new challenge for me. I was already on the board of SciComm as the tiny G representative. I knew that there was work to be done, and I felt I could bring some fresh ideas to the table. There was a number of people put themselves forward for that role, so there was a bit of competition. I am relatively unknown in the wider sector, which was a bit of a challenge and an opportunity for me. Some of the opportunity was that I didn't have any baggage or an obligation to anyone, and totally neutral, and one of the biggest assets I think I have is my passion to help make a difference to the sector. Jane King had been the chairperson for quite some time and was keen to step down, so it was just the right time, I think, with me in my career to put myself forward for this new challenge, and I was very fortunate to actually be voted for by the members as the new chair, so I took over that at the beginning of the year.
What role do you think the Security Commonwealth can play within the industry at large, and what sets it apart as an organisation in your view?
That's a really good question, and one that I get asked quite a lot. What is SciComm and what do you do? And I guess I always start by saying SciComm's mantra is that as an industry, we're stronger together. And the board members and myself all feel there is strength in coming together and champion work collectively. So the role of SciComm is not to take over or dictate to our members what they should be doing. It's rather to work collectively and collaboratively as widely as possible to help bring about some significant changes for the sector. So that's one thing. We are the umbrella organisation, if you like. One thing that's very clear throughout the sector is that change is constant. Personally, and as the chair of SciComm, that we need to be comfortable being uncomfortable in some respects, and with making changes to the way we deliver our services going forward. So SciComm is independent, as it is collaborative, and we have our own goals that we'd like to champion, but we also have a great desire to bring our members and associations together to discuss and to challenge and to work collaboratively to help set the standards for other sectors to follow.
And could you outline what it is that you bring to the role of chair, and how will you use this position to help drive the industry forward?
Yes, so my sort of back history is 32 years in the security industry and counting. My background is in policing, both in the UK and in New Zealand. I've got a big work ethic and a deep passion for helping to keep people safe. I have a strong moral compass and confident to chart my own path. I guess I would describe myself as naively competent. I know what I'm good at, and I deeply believe in myself. Not easily intimidated. I've got some academic qualifications that I'm very proud of. I got my Master of International Security with a major in intelligence when I was 46 years old and in New Zealand. And I think that very much backs up and sort of measures with my experience in the police. I'm also a wife and a mother and have overcome some significant challenges throughout my career. Like many women that might be listening to this, I've felt the guilt of, as a working mum, working shifts and long hours when my children were younger, when other mothers might be staying at home looking after their family. But I think my children, who are now adults, seem to have a deep respect for what I do and how I go about doing what I do. So I don't think we need to feel guilty as women for working hard and putting ourselves forward for challenging roles. So I've built up my own small business, which is going from strength to strength. I've got massive passion and drive for myself and my team within my business. We're all deeply invested in what we do, and we do it for the right reasons. We're very credible, competent and confident, and we love what we do. And I guess just to finish that question off, my lived experience makes me who I am today, and I bring that experience with me, as I've said, as a mother, a wife, a successful business owner, and 32 years plus as a security professional. I'm very proud to be the chair of SciComm.
What do you believe to be the most pressing current and potential future challenges facing the security industry?
That's a really good and very big question to answer, I think, Brian. I think for me, attracting talent into the operational side of the industry is a significant challenge. In my view, we're held back a little bit by the legacy view of what a security officer is and does. And I think that needs to change. I'm hoping to build upon what I do with my business to collaborate with SciComm and Tiny G to do a bit of work and help develop frontline officers, especially women who have traditionally lost confidence or lack confidence to progress. And we're going to be doing some work in the future around empowering our women to have the confidence to move forward with their career. So watch this space on that. I think increasing developments within AI will have an impact on what we do and how we do it going forward, probably in all elements of the security industry. I guess that provides some significant opportunities to move forward and innovate, but I guess it can also and will also make our lives more difficult. So I look forward to those challenges and see how we navigate that at both a government level and a national level. And I think finally, the reduction in frontline police officers is challenging. There's potential for a place for the private security sector to fill that ever-increasing gap between the police and the community. What does that look like? I'm not exactly sure. I guess who knows? But it does provide opportunities for us to play a greater role in helping to keep people safe, especially women and girls. So I think that's a piece of work as well that SciComm are going to be working at nationally to understand how the private security industry can help support frontline policing.
And how do we make the security domain an industry of choice for young talent emerging from higher education, Claire?
Oh, that's a super challenging question as well, Brian, I think. I've been talking to a number of my contemporaries across the sector about this, and there are definitely some SciComm members doing some great work in this space. I think, as I mentioned before, the security sector isn't currently the sector of choice for young talent, other than to say that cybersecurity is probably more open to talent than the frontline operational security roles. My view is we need to change the way we talk about and deliver our service as a sector. We need to talk much more about keeping people safe, I guess, from harm, as well as keeping our assets secure. I think we need to ensure that companies who want to tender for security services understand the value a strong safety and security strategy can bring to their overall business success, rather than seeing it as a necessary function with no value add. And I guess finally, from a SciComm perspective, we need to have great role models within the industry who can champion the sector, not for self-serving reasons, but with a genuine passion, I guess, to pass on values and to, showcase the industry for what it's delivered for us. We need strong mentors, coaches, and diverse industry leaders to come together, perhaps and hopefully under the umbrella of SciComm, to help make this a reality and to try and bring and attract new talent to the sector. And I know, having spoken to a number of our members, that's certainly high on the radar of all our member groups. So it's something I look forward to championing and working on going forward.
Returning to the news now, and the first ever female chief of the Secret Intelligence Service has been announced by the Prime Minister. Blaise Metrovelli CMG will be the 18th chief in the history of MI6, and the first woman to hold the role at a time when the UK faces increased threats from adversaries. Commonly referred to as C, the chief has operational responsibility for MI6 and is the only publicly named member of the organisation. The chief is directly accountable to the Foreign Secretary. Metrovelli is currently Director General responsible for technology and innovation in MI6 and has previously held a director-level role in MI5. She will succeed Sir Richard Moore, who leaves MI6 before the end of the year. Prime Minister Keir Starmer said, "The historic appointment of Blaise Metrovelli comes at a time when the work of our intelligence services has never been more vital. The UK is facing threats on an unprecedented scale, be it from aggressors who send their spy ships to our waters, or hackers whose sophisticated cyber plots seek to disrupt our public services. I would like to thank Sir Richard Moore for his dedicated service. I know Blaise will continue to provide the excellent leadership needed to defend our country and keep our people safe, which is the very foundation of my plan for change." Foreign Secretary David Lammy stated, "I'm delighted to appoint Blaise Metrovelli as the next chief of MI6. With a wealth of experience from across our national security community, Blaise is the ideal candidate to lead MI6 into the future. At a time of global instability and emerging security threats, where technology is power and our adversaries are working closer together, Blaise will ensure the UK can tackle these challenges head-on to keep Britain safe and secure at home and abroad." Commenting on her appointment, Blaise Metrovelli CMG said, "I'm proud and honoured to be asked to lead my service. Along with MI5 and GCHQ, MI6 plays a vital role in keeping the British people safe and promoting UK interests overseas. I now look forward to continuing that work alongside the brave officers and agents of MI6 and our many international partners." Outgoing MI6 Chief Sir Richard Moore observed, "I'm absolutely delighted by this historic appointment of my colleague Blaise Metrovelli to succeed me as C. Blaise is a highly accomplished intelligence officer and leader, as well as being one of our foremost thinkers on technology. I'm extremely excited to welcome her as the first female head of MI6. Skills for Security's latest Engineering Futures, a celebration event held on the 10th of June, brought together a dedicated network of leaders from across the security and fire sectors to highlight the vital partnerships and sponsorships driving real progress in tackling urgent challenges. Now in its third year, the event welcomed over 100 guests, including representatives from 28 sponsors, to the Royal Academy of Engineering in central London. The evening was a recognition of those organisations actively collaborating to fix long-standing skills gaps and workforce development issues across both the security and fire safety domains. David Scott, the Managing Director of Skills for Security, opened the event by reflecting on the collective efforts needed to address the industry's persistent skills challenges. Scott observed, "Engineering Futures is about recognising the people, companies and partnerships behind progress. We know the scale of the issues involved. Events like this one showcase what's possible when industry leaders join forces with a shared vision and purpose. Our sponsors play a key role in enabling the infrastructure that allows apprentices to thrive and deliver a meaningful and long-term impact." Throughout the evening, the spotlight remained firmly on those businesses and partners who are working side by side with Skills for Security to transform the landscape of apprenticeship training and professional development. The atmosphere reflected a growing sense of unity and shared responsibility. Employers, awarding organisations, training providers and sponsors alike engaged in conversations that went beyond celebration, discussing how collaboration can be leveraged still further to ensure a resilient and future-ready workforce. Simon Banks, the chair of Skills for Security, observed, "What we saw in this event is the result of industry leaders deciding not to wait for change, but rather becoming it. Our sponsors and partners are co-architects in building a stronger and smarter future. By joining forces, sharing resources, insight and ambition, we're actively tackling the skills gap and going on to redefine what's possible for the security and fire safety professions." Banks concluded, "The Engineering Futures event serves as a powerful reminder that the future doesn't rest on isolated efforts, but rather on partnerships rooted in purpose and a shared determination to resolve our challenges together. Collaboration is the engine of real and lasting change." Our second guest on episode 35 is Paul Lotter, the Managing Director of Core Security, who harbours more than 20 years' experience in the security guarding sector. He joined Core Security back in 2018, having previously brought his security skills to the fore at Reliance, Securitas, Mighty and Linterserve. Paul works closely with Core Security's operational teams to devise new approaches towards service delivery, while also concentrating on strategy and keeping the business connected to the wider industry. On this occasion, Paul examines Core Security's status as a social enterprise, reviews service delivery, and also looks at career progression in the sector. Thank you very much for joining us on the Security Matters podcast, Paul. Core Security's financial year began on the 1st of April. What are your key goals for the financial year ahead?
Thank you, Brian. So Core Security, as you know, sits under the Core Commissionaire's banner. We have three clear service lines: Core Security, Core Consult and our monitoring business. We want to continue to grow our business as we've done in the past few years. both in the guarding sector, but very much looking at the other new sectors and new markets around our core monitoring business and around our consult business. Now that we've introduced the new intelligence part within our core consult business, we feel we can deliver a number of other opportunities and solutions to our customers, which further enhances our overall security solutions capability. Another key driver for this year is around looking after our people. We've always been committed to our people, and it's sort of been brought home more around the social enterprise piece, which I know we'll talk a bit more on in a bit. But making sure that we're providing our officers with the right wage is absolutely a requirement within our business, and therefore we stay committed to the Living Wage Foundation and will continue to do that going forward.
And how has the company's social enterprise status influenced business operations, do you think?
We're very much, as I said, a people-first business, and that's absolutely our approach, and that's what we will remain to be. You know, we were set up many, many years ago to support veterans returning from the Crimean War, as you know. So it's all about people, and we need to maintain that and continue to think about how we continue to support and encourage our colleagues to be the best versions of themselves, as well as ultimately supporting veterans. Initiatives like the Colleague Welfare Fund and enhanced benefits certainly add to what we stand for and who we are as a social enterprise. Being a social enterprise has put a different spin on us as a business, and it's made us really think about doing the right thing and making sure that we're always thinking about both our customers and our colleagues and delivering the best possible outcomes for them. Things like Core Together play a significant part within our business, and Core Together is our ED&I part of the business, which was set up a few years ago and won several awards because of the way it's been set up and its forward-thinking approach and what we're trying to achieve with regards to engaging with all our colleagues at all levels. And ultimately, our Core Connect platform that we again set up a few years ago has helped us to be able to communicate a lot more effectively with our colleagues. Being a social enterprise comes with responsibilities, and we need to make sure we absolutely own those responsibilities. And that means looking after our people, doing the right thing, and ensuring that we're adding social value, both to our business, but also just as importantly to our customers' businesses.
In what ways is core security service delivery changing to fulfill customer demands and keep pace with the changing landscape of security in general?
That's a really interesting question, because I think over the past few years, offering of multi-skilled security officers has sort of become the norm now. Gone are the days where you just have a basic security officer doing one function. So we now have officers that are able to do a number of tasks across a number of platforms or areas. Integrating security is also becoming a really big part, and we need to think about how we can integrate technology into daily operations, especially local things like integrating cameras and access control into our officers' daily functions. But I do think going forward, the advancements around AI and robotics is going to play a significant further enhance the service that we offer our customers. And I see this as an extension to support our colleagues rather than replacing our colleagues. So I just need to be very clear with regards to that. AI and robotics will be able to allow our customers and our colleagues, our security officers, to provide a better level of security service, not necessarily looking at replacing. I mean, there will always be areas where there'll be efficiencies. That's part of what we're here to do, and about providing the right solutions for our customers, but also looking at the most cost-effective ways of doing it. But I would be very mindful that people need to think that a lot of this technology is here to support and provide higher levels or higher degrees of security rather than just replacing security personnel. I'll give you a good example. We've recently, and we're about to launch our to the market drones. We've been doing a fair bit of work behind the scenes and doing a number of trials around drones and its capabilities. And what we've been able to establish is drones, when used correctly, naturally still need a pilot, or they need someone local to actually fly them. But using drones in the right way absolutely enhances the capabilities of our security team to be a lot more proactive and be a lot more responsive to customer demands rather than looking to replace individuals. With drones also, you can get a lot more out of them. You can get them to do a number of service checks and a number of different security functions that speeds up the whole process of ensuring that a customer's premises is kept safe and secure.
Frontline security officers play a really crucial role, of course. What more can be done to elevate their professional status?
Again, this is an area that gets spoken about a lot, and we've really got to get to a point where we are able to promote a real career opportunity and pathways for our officers. I think a lot of people fall into security and it's potentially not their chosen profession to start off with, but a lot of people, once they're in security, realize the diverse and varying parts of security, and therefore they find a place where they can flourish and grow. However, we need to make sure that people understand that before they join the industry and absolutely see this as a career path for them. We need to also make sure that we pay people correctly, we provide them with the right benefits, and we make it a career that people are interested in joining because they are being remunerated correctly, they are being seen as professionals, and they are being paid accordingly. And lastly, I would say one of the other things is that we need to work a lot closer with regards to people like law enforcement agencies. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes with regards to how we can work more closely with law enforcement officers, how we can complement them. We're not looking to replace them. We're not looking to take their jobs or anything like that. But how can we, over 400,000 strong security officers, help and support the overall security of pretty much of the country?
Environmental, social and governance, or ESG, is a huge topic facing the industry, with customers often driving partner organisations to reduce their carbon footprint. What are the challenges the security industry faces in meeting such customer goals?
Well, I suppose from a core security perspective, because we're a people business, we naturally create emissions by our officers going to and from our customers' locations. Fortunately, that creates Scope 3 emissions for our customers, because ultimately it's the customer that is requiring the security. So we need to think about better ways of covering this off and reducing this. And some of the examples I can come up with, and we've come up with, is car sharing is a great example, the use of public transport. But we also have, over the past few years, looked at a cycle to work scheme, which certainly helps our colleagues who live local to be able to get to and from work without relying on vehicles. As part of our social value and part of our social enterprise targets, we always look to recruit our new colleagues locally. Again, by recruiting people locally within the vicinity of the site, we're able to naturally reduce emissions, but it also supports our social value targets. We're also looking at our offices and office locations and ensuring that, where possible, we're using green energy in those offices, making sure that we utilizing hybrid working where possible. It doesn't always work, but in some cases, hybrid working does work. And the natural one, which everyone's looking at, is looking at our fleet of vehicles and offering people on car allowances an enhancement to go with sort of electric vehicles and hybrids. We're slowly also changing our company car fleet to hybrid and electric vehicles where possible.
And finally, Paul, you've mentioned what can be done for security officers to elevate the profession once they're in post. How can we transition security into a first-choice career for new recruits, though?
So I think promoting career paths and opportunities and promoting from within plays a big part in attracting people to understand that there is a real career within the security industry. I find that when we recruit people into certain roles, sometimes the role that they're recruited into may not be the best position for them. And therefore, when you move them to a different location doing a different role, they suddenly start to flourish. I think it's making sure that we put people in positions where they enjoy the role, they understand the role, and they're able to flourish in that role, you find that it becomes a career choice for people and they stay for a long time. We have many, many people, and we are constantly giving 20, 25-year service awards to colleagues within our business because they've found a place within our company and enjoy the work that they're doing. I suppose finally, talking about career choices in security is, I started off as a security officer over 25 years ago, and I know a number of senior leaders within the security industry who also started off as security officers. And I think it's important that people understand that there are career opportunities and career paths within security. Yes, they're not necessarily always mapped out, and I'm hoping that the skills board, the security skills board, is something that will help map that out and give people a much clearer understanding of career paths. But once you're in the security industry, it's one of those places that once you're in, it's difficult to get out. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in a positive way, because it's an industry that everyone starts to feel a part of and feels engaged in. And I think that once you're in it, you want to be a part of it and you want to add value within the industry. And that's why I see so many people who I know from 20, 25 years ago when I joined the industry, still in the industry, still enjoying what they're doing and really making a real career out of this opportunity.
That brings us to the end of this edition of the Security Matters podcast. Many thanks indeed to Claire Humble from the Security Commonwealth and Nuology, and also Paul Lotter from Core Security for their time and insight. Many thanks also to our podcast sponsor, the Security Event. The Security Event runs from the 28th to the 30th of April 2026 at the NEC in Birmingham. To register for the show, visit www.thesecurityyevent.co.uk. Don't forget to visit our website at www.securitymattersmagazine.com, where you can access all of our podcasts and also read the latest news and opinion from the security business sector. You can view our dedicated features content and also sign up to receive our very popular weekly e-news bulletin. Please do contact us if there are any key themes or issues you would like us to explore on upcoming editions of the podcast. You can do so on X, formerly Twitter of course, by using the hashtag SecurityPod. On that note, make sure you follow us on X at WBMSecMatters and access our LinkedIn page at Security Matters Magazine and website. Please do like and share the podcast content and spread the word among your industry colleagues. You can listen to the Security Matters podcast for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube or Podbean. To download the Security Matters podcast, all you need to do is enter the term Security Matters into your chosen platform search box. We'll see you next time.